building under the surface in this region that are yet to shine.
All right, let's take a look at our map ban. Again, best of 3 series, so we'll have our 7 map pool up on the screen as usual, and we'll keep on banning. Ban, ban, pick, pick, ban, ban, and then our final decider map is the last pick, of course, the 7th map that's left in the pool. It's going to pop up at some point.
You can talk around the current maps they played last time, right? They 7-5, 7-5 to Mercenaries in both of those games. I think coming in from talking to a lot of the players and coaches from the region, they'll tell you, Mercenaries are favored to win. But the games they had against MonkaS were both super close. One of those maps was Villa. It ended 7-5, and believe it or not, was very, very attacker-leaning. 4 attacking rounds going to MonkaS, but 5 going to Mercenaries. So throw away everything you know about the game. It's attacker-leaning now.
Well, the interesting thing here, this is the exact same 3 maps that appeared in the last best of 3 that they played against together. They played it in a slightly different order, as it was Villa, Consulate, then Theme Park, which didn't end up getting played because it was a 2-0 Mercenaries. It went a 7-5 Mercenaries in both cases. But the point is, these are clearly maps that not only do these 2 teams feel comfortable on, but they've met each other on and they know each other's playstyles.
And again, the attacking lean on both maps has just been massive. Like, defense is apparently not a thing for either team. They prefer us to run and gun. I don't know, maybe there is some defensive part, but the history says
they're going to have to play
we like to get in the building and we like to kill people.
I want to see how that happens because an attacker-favored Villa is so unusual. There's something the attackers are doing right, something the defenders are not able to react to effectively. So very curious. Expectations operator-wise in this.
You're really asking us that question?
Yeah.
Given we haven't seen anything, I have no idea what kind of stuff comes out in bans or comes out in the gameplay itself.
I mean,
in general,
I'm just having a look at what they've banned before. When they went on to Villa last time, MonkaS banned Monty and Echo, and Mercenaries banned Thatcher and Mirror. Kind of standard, I think. Yeah, it's fairly normal.
See, it does.
Consulate though, we had a Blackbeard ban alongside Wamai coming out from Mercenaries, and then Thatcher Maestro on the other side. But I mean, Blackbeard, it goes alongside what we're talking about. This.
How weird does it feel that Echo is a ban? Because I can't think of the whole tournament when we've seen an Echo ban. Like, it's just not been a thing since he was recently taken out of play for a brief time and then brought back. There's been a lot of focus on other bans coming through for a lot of teams.
In the Asian region, when I say Asian, I mean both of the APACs, but. Absolutely, because over in EU, we have seen Echo be banned. As soon as the opportunity to ban Echo came around, yeah, they were on it.
A similar thing happened in North America as well. I think the overall vibe was, actually, it's quite nice to not have to worry about yokai drones that are up and around you. So, I guess the reasoning behind it, understandable.
Yeah.
It does now reduce the amount of, increase the amount of work that you have to do putting in to learn your opponents and see what they really have in store for you. We've seen a lot of shield play often enough, like maybe not on Villa specifically, but there's just been so much variability that even teams that are so known for being comfortable on the map, for example, attacking Kitchen, seem to struggle in their time management because you still have to take control of that bedroom area, and defenders are just such a big thorn in your side. You can never really be sure that the entire area is clear.
Well, I mean, this is the thing with Villa. It's just such a huge map that there's so much that you have to do to ensure that those real dangerous spots, things like roams, whatnot, are clear before you can actually make your move onto the site, onto the objective. And for a lot of teams, they don't even get to the point at which they can begin to do that because of the problems that are caused. But the thing that I worry about with this is if neither of these 2 teams are particularly defender favored and they don't have strong defenses, how much of an issue is that going to be?
That's exactly my point. Is when it comes down to these 2 teams in particular, Villa doesn't play out the way that we would normally see it. It is more around the attacking side of things. So, are shields not a big focus? Or if they are, how quickly they're being dealt with? Is the Wamai ban going to come through, which is going to make these things a little bit easier to deal with? If so, it's probably going to go a similar way as before and be very, very attacker-leaning. I'm just looking towards Mercenaries and seeing they won 3-2 in the grand final. They 2-0'd all of their other opponents. They are the team to win this.
Actually, let's see what we thought about these games. We predicted that these matches and how they would go, and
this is going to be an Okami game again.
Yes.
This is the same thing all over again.
We were wrong already. Even Hap was wrong. I know, crazy as
the great Hap.
The great Haparino. And yeah, unfortunately, he lost that pick in the last game that we had with Okami. Mercs up their Mercenaries. potential, maybe an upset. We'll see. You talked about the maps. You talked about the scores that they had against one another previously. It ended in a 2-0, but the maps were tighter than.
Yeah, 7-5 is certainly not a stop.
Yeah, that's for sure. Let's see what people thought about this game watching from home, however. We have a public poll. There it is. And 62%.
You know exactly why that is. You know exactly why that is.
MonkaS.
Look at the team name.
Yeah, that's very true. It's almost like if you have good branding and the idea around it.
Yeah.
It kind of.
All I'm saying, chat, is you don't disappoint. Thank you very much.
So there it goes. MonkaS predicted 62% to win this game and 38 for Mercs. It does indeed come to a full 100% in the end, because now we're double checking that, right, Gio? But it is time for us to kick off our game. MercenarieZ versus MonkaS. Map 1 is a very technical villa picked by MercenarieZ. Our casters, Fluke and Hap, please go ahead.
We're traveling quite a lot today, Fluke.
We are. We went
Paris
from there to here.
to Sydney,
Oh.
back to Paris,
Oh. Yeah.
to Italy.
To Italy. This is
And from
one
there to
time.
here.
Can I just
So-
say, that's the one time we've done a prediction segment where we haven't shouted across the studio at each other. We're growing up. We're maturing with you, the viewers, who voted MonkaS to win purely on the name. Yeah, it's a new region. New region never before seen. MercenarieZ versus MonkaS. These are teams where I've got a chance to chat with these guys, as I said before. So I'm really excited because all of them had so much energy. All of them had so much of this idea like, yeah, it's been like, the scene has been building for 5 years. We've had all these offline events. Some of us have been playing since the beginning. Some of us have been quite recent, these teams.
No.
And now we're in the situation where, you know, we might be able to bring everything together. Let's hope this doesn't lead to a rehost as an instant. But we'll go through the bans and go through the motions and see where we end up.
Now,
Thatcher,
I
go
was
on.
going to say, people might be wondering why these bans are so normal or, you know, meta, as people would maybe say. But I've talked to, for example, Fnatic, and back then it was being said that there's a lot of EU influence in this region right here.
Yeah.
So I'm not totally surprised to have these kind of bans on. Just quickly want to notice that. Mention that, not notice.
I mean, you noticed it, and then
I
you mentioned
noticed
it.
it, that's
So you kind of did both
wrong
there.
order.
It's all right. I'll forgive you. They're obviously taking their time on these bans to give their player as much time as possible to get back into the game. You don't want to use your rehost this early, especially with the problems that might come forward. It was actually a story when we get into the next game that I can tell. I will spin you a yarn of a rehost that potentially caused the team to drop down to the lower bracket. Oh, not a rehost, a player dropping. Unfortunately, Nomad and Mirror gone again. Not too strange. The thing about the Nomad ban, as they mentioned on the desk, that hints at an aggressive game. That hints at a lot of motion, a lot of possibility to take control of what is a very, very big and deep map. And I want to see them kind of living in it. I want to see them basking in the aggression. I want to see them moving and manipulating all of the play space, getting rid of a Nomad. That's a great lead-in for that.
It's definitely a great lead-in. I was just thinking, Valkyrie is often what we see nowadays on the map like Villa, especially with the Nomad ban to come in. Still some time left for the play. Oh, there he is. He joined back just in time. Oh. It's already exciting. The round hasn't even started yet.
We've already started. We've already started. Aviator Games is where we're going to be heading to first. AVG, and as you said, there's a lot of EU influence in this region. There's a lot of EU stylings that I guess bled through because, well, I don't know if you've ever heard this set. I don't know if Siege fans have ever heard this set. EU was the region to beat. NA's, they've been looking pretty good recently. NA's been kind of on fire. Maybe the EU title isn't secure as it once was. But either way, there was a long period of time where EU were the team to beat. And now we're looking at, okay, well, these are the lessons that they have been taking from the region that we obviously call our home. And I'm really curious again to see how it becomes their playstyle, how it becomes their game. Talking of Union Gaming, obviously one of the other teams that are up. Best of luck, MercenarieZ and MonkaS. Have fun making history.
Can we get some MonkaS in the chat? Just to bully Natu.
Oh, what? I mean, did anyone solve his riddle earlier? Do we know?
I think it's advice.
You think, or you know?
You said it was respect, but you do not take respect.
Was it BDS? Oh no, they don't
I was
take it.
thinking about it. I was like, what do you mean? And I was
no, they
like,
don't
oh, I understand
This-
now.
I'm coming in here with all the energy in the world because, as I said before, I have been talking to these guys. I am so excited that we get the privilege to introduce these guys to the rest of the scene.
We both come from like, well, I mean, the UK always has a bit, you know, was a bit more developed than Benelux, but Benelux has often been like seen as like an underdeveloped region, a new region as well. And I came from there, and now I'm happy to see him. I'm happy to cast the first game on the main channel right here. Well, in the major, that is. For these two teams, for this region. And I'm sure you are as well.
Oh, yeah, unbelievably. Setting themselves up here for what is going to be the opening of the push, bringing obviously the dock that hasn't been spawn peeking as of yet. Whenever you see it with the big windows and angles this map can offer, we've sometimes seen a bit of a development recently where you'll dig in on these slight external holds. So, say for example, you're playing obviously towards the trophy statuary side, you dig in the walk-in cupboard and find yourself stimming yourself up, taking as many grenades as possible. And that's when I see a dock on this map. In my head, I'm thinking, well, where are they going to be playing? Because they might be in these little weird, unfamiliar positions. Hibana are opening up the close corner, kind of the opposite of usual, but didn't do the reconnaissance needed as they swing into the corridor. And Firefly takes a bit of damage, but is able to stop those first set of pellets.
Putting up a second one. This is not what you should be doing right here. Second set of Excaliburs going off right there and will be depleted or destroyed as well by said player. And you see how close this Jackal is. Maybe you should have waited until he got into the position needed to make sure that the Excaliburs could actually be used properly. I'm not sure. Probably does have one left, and well, he already rotated all the way around into the little balcony right here in study. So probably will be opening up towards the vault.
Waiting and baiting underneath. Gisk Boy is going to see if they can strike at anybody that comes a little bit too close, but with the Jackal on the board, their confidence might not be as well confident as it should be. Has the possibility for a big bit of damage here as they wait underneath. If they just get the audio from the motion, they do. They see no Claymore, but it was waited and baited by MI7 as Gisk is the first blood in this showdown. They have the crossfire, they see an escaping Wamai. And now it's just a matter of seeing if they can get the diffuser down. They're looking to go behind the vault door, the default plant spot, as they finally find their way and swing straight in. There is no counter coming out here. QB is going to have to try and get aggro. There's the C4 just in time. The Firefly burns bright. But with the diffuser picked back up and a hectic firefight on every single door possible, they just cannot find their way back in.
They don't indeed, and Doctor and Hassep will be able to take down that last kill. Sorry for the pronunciation. I'm absolutely terrible at this, most likely. But Merc's able to pick up that first round and take the initiative straight away. MonkaS not able to eventually stick it. They got that great C4 in, stop the diffuser, but there was too little utility left to actually make sure that there was no plant going to happen in the end.
Well, they're going to double down on AVG. They're going to see if they can try it again. Now, obviously, when we look at the denial there was, as you said, just a severe lack of it. You think of all the operators that they could have been playing in those situations. Maybe, obviously, having the Legion there, potentially having an aggressive shield, which we sometimes see just playing on that swing round, so you can apply some counter pressure to anyone that even gets close. Or, if you want to be a little bit more adventurous with it, underneath. True, there is a Jackal on the board. These guys obviously know each other much better than we do, so they'll know how to counter each other. They'll know that maybe they've already played through these motions and these steps and gone, well, they always play a Jackal. So going underneath is something that's going to be a cause and a problem for us. In the same breath, obviously, you've got to look at how you can adapt that. Maybe bringing a smoke to just apply some counter to getting in close. Maybe something that allows you to keep the hold that you had inside the gun vault without overextending and overstretching yourself.
I like what they tried to do, though, on the top of the brown stairs right here. You have the door towards study. The Excaliburs were put down onto the wall from study towards games room. Or aviators, I must say. Sorry, I'm bullying the observer. Which normally gives you the angle into the vault, but we saw the player, instead of taking down the Excaliburs, he tried to like instantly challenge the landing door. And I'm not too sure about it. I think it would have been better to shoot the Excaliburs because it would have given more freedom to actually rotate and try to deal with stuff. Doctor not having the best of connections, as that's the second time he disconnects. However, this time it is going to be an advantage for the likes of MonkaS.
Yeah, obviously Doctor was one of the players who was quite a big show of force for MercenarieZ. He's able to get in, he found 2 kills in the previous round, and, you know, having him go off the board first, that's your Jackal, that's your roam clear, but that's also your current top fragger. How important they are with that pressure that needs to be applied to actually get into the site, which is a very heavy site. Thick walls, and unfortunately thick doors become very problematic if you don't have that kind of star tip-of-the-spear talisman player. They're still going to try their best, as they always would, peppering bullets towards the cross corners and making sure they catch anyone that might get a bit bold towards the corner of long and over across landing. Ninja Freak is going for a rotation. Whether the adaptation is coming out because they lost a player or not, I guess is one to be seen, but I'm curious if we're going to see something from Giskboy again. Perfectly predicted. Medics, thank you very much. See, I'm not going to bully you like Hap is. I'm going to be complimentary. Because a Valkyrie on the roam with a C4 here underneath can be so good.
It definitely could be really impactful, especially if the C4 gets tossed up. That's a kill. Oh, no, he's waiting. That's too late now. Misses the opportunity to actually go for the kill on Taha, but he moves back. There we go. Boom. No, too late. There we go. 2 opportunities. Missed. Taha will survive. And that leaves us in this 4v4 situation that we shouldn't have found ourselves in the start. Taha will be able to pick up a kill and takes the favor right here towards Mercs' side. 65 seconds left. They need to get a flank in now, but do they have utility to try and achieve that? As they're aware of the fact that the Valkyrie is roaming.
Now, if you want me to put this into perspective for you guys that aren't as familiar, what I've learned is generally MercenarieZ and MonkaS, they're both new teams. MonkaS is one that's unfortunately not had the success that MercenarieZ have had. They've both come together within this year, only really the past couple of months they've been able to play stuff, and in the case of MercenarieZ, only a few weeks before the open qualifiers, before all this started, and well, they're living up to some of it so far, but there's a great battle back there from Gisk, who's able to take care with the MPX below. And again, a big kill on the roam. It's going to force the hard destruction to act a little bit quicker across the side in face of Study as they look to see if they can pressure some bodies away from the default plant spot, going for the same MO because last time it worked. The barb is there, it won't stop them too heavily as they still have 15 seconds to get this down. One bit of denial here, which could have been that. Almost catches him, almost catches everything. If they'd waited a couple of extra seconds to bait the diffuser planter, it could have been monumental, but there's the spray from Ninja Freak, and Hasib finds a second. It's a 3 versus nobody. MercenarieZ, 2 in a row.
2 in a row indeed, as MercenarieZ will be able to pick up the extra kill. The rehost will be called, and that means that we are going back to us for just a small bit, a few seconds to wait until the new member, or, well, Doctor comes back in, not really the new member.
A new Doctor.
A new Doctor, and they need a medic.
Milos is
Milos.
Doctor.
Milos.
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 He's a kind of Doctor, Milos. An optometrist. Does that count?
I think that does count.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, we're going to have a very quick rehost, obviously, as we get the player, and it's unfortunate to have your start here when it's especially been positive be marred by technical difficulties. But again, this is one of the things about when you're developing a region, it becomes this kind of idea, and it's something that they've all said is, you know, it's great to have all of the attention, all of this focus, and it's a growing thing. And, you know, it's great to still see a region that is so prominent and so focused on having all this competitiveness and having all this commitment to the game that they're going to keep pushing through all this and, hey, grow an entire huge scene out of it. But again, cannot state this enough. First time with us, ever.
Ever.
Ever and ever.
I have to give commendations, though, towards the 4v5 round that they still managed to win.
Yeah.
On attack, on Villa. That is something that isn't often the case.
No.
Especially in AVGs.
The thing is, again, what I think I'm going to point out here is the lack of intent, like direct plant denial. So obviously, we've seen them do.
We had a C4.
We had 2 C4s technically.
Yeah.
Neither of them caught. And I think they just need something to buy a little bit more time. And you think, okay, well, what can we apply there? We know that they're pushing that door. Smoke is a fantastic option, but at the same breath, if you're worried about having to rely on utility that takes that little skill, okay, Goyo. Throw a Goyo shield down there, have that on the close corner. All you have to do is pop the back of it or force them to have to turn the corner and burn utility, which they haven't really been prepared for so far throughout this, and that's 15 seconds you've bought yourself.
You can even clip it through the wall, the smoke canister.
Yeah.
So you can stop it. That's why people start planting behind the strategy table now. I believe it's gone. I'm not too sure.
Strategy table.
I'm not sure. It's like mountains and like little flags in it. So I assumed it was like, you know those old war films where they're like pushing. All right, so we move the 7th Legion up or there, and then the 6th one will go like this, and we'll meet the 5th Panzer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like you played with tanks a lot as a kid.
I did not actually, but I feel like it's such like a table of that kind. So
Yeah, I mean, it probably is a table of that kind.
We can
Doesn't
see
look like
when
a
we
board
get back
game table.
in.
We'll have a look, medics.
Just look in on the
when we get
table.
back in. Either way, my colleague who loves war is correct. You
can also love, air crashes, which Geo does.
Well, yeah, but that's the other side of the map. that's the Astro Room. We have, as you said, the slight change in dynamic of where they're planting. Now, at the beginning of this, we said we're probably going to see a lot of the EU influence. It is synonymous with when the game was at, it started to explode across the world. The scene started to erupt around the back of these kind of ginormous EU teams around year 2, 3. And now we're at the situation where, obviously, you're playing a bit of catch-up. These guys know this as well. One of the things that they said is, we're going to be a bit behind everyone else, the same way that when APAC was first introduced, you saw it. But then look how quickly APAC grew when it was introduced, and especially look at the games we've had obviously earlier today and yesterday. It's so hot, it's so quick, so aggressive, and so cutting edge now in its own way that, again, that's what we're going to start to see. So it's going to be a bit slow and steady for now.
And how much quicker will it grow once the entirety of APAC will be united in a major environment like this?
In strunk environment. That's the thing. Obviously, all these teams now are fighting for these upper edge echelon spots. So the one who does end up getting there, from however these tournaments play out, is going to have to step up their game. They're going to have to try and find these new levels, these new kind of heights that they can hit. Because when you're up against some of the other teams, which they will be, that we've seen on those big grand SI major stages, well, you got to bring more than your A game. You got to bring their A game and
S game.
Then some. The S tier game. You like how that changed in the defined events?
I was so confused. Talking about tiers, right? It went from where does it start? F, E, D, and then suddenly S.
Yep.
And like why?
Are you an S tier, Caster?
I don't know. Am I? I don't want to say that.
I'm like
about
C minus, I think.
Yeah. Well, I would say you're a B plus.
Oh, thank you. One of the things that we also have to kind of look at here is obviously in terms of the attack. What we're seeing, obviously, it's a very narrow glimpse we've had so far. But it's both been a lot of gun pressure more than utility. We've seen kind of big mistakes with utility. Obviously, the X-Kairos going against the wall, those being shot off.
Matter in the end.
Then going off the wall again and then being shot off. It didn't matter in the end, obviously, in how the play goes out, but once you fired it once, you've got to kind of learn the lesson. You've got to know, okay, we cannot do this again, because A, they're paying attention, and B, if we're going to do this again, if we're going to bait them out, then let's have some response to that. Let's either swing in with the motion, or try and get control of the opposite staircase, or we saw the Jackal not too far away, he was pushing towards the classical corner and long. Time.
I would love to have, a map of Villa right now, so we could completely draw on it and say how the attack was focused, because right now we've seen two of the similar kind of tactics where everything has been focused on study door.
Yeah. And I think we kind of have to look towards things, Okay, we kind of have to look towards how things work and how things kind of don't work in the lessons. And sure, you look at a round one and you go, hey, this has worked. We can do this again. And you kind of got to go, well, no, because you have to learn from these lessons. Because as we've seen in the other regions, when things get more competitive, those little mistakes lead to the end of your round. Here, they're not going to be punished as much because it's obviously not yet, exactly. It's not as tested a region. It's not as thoroughly kind of microscopically watched as a region. It's gonna become that. So you've got to be able to kind of go those little tweaks, those little kind of things that you got to sharpen up, got to get working faster. Let me compare it to the team that we saw yesterday that really, really shined for me and still do with Xavier, was when they were doing their pushes, when they were doing their attacks, it was so watertight. It was beautiful to see because every single step, beautiful. It was c'est magnifique. I'm gonna stop doing French actually.
That one was safe actually.
That one was safe.
Yeah.
It was
You'll never know.
Watertight. Everything was in beat and in rhythm. but everything was still aggressive. They were able to have the aggressive playstyle that you guys obviously love to have, but they made sure that it was at the same step that everybody else was doing it. They would wait 2-3 seconds each, they would get each other into position, and then go from that goal. Rather than kind of, okay, well, this has happened, so I'm going to try again. No. You've got to remember this is always going to be a team game, even if you're playing the most defensive, stoic method, or even if you're playing the most aggressive guns blazing, you're still a team of 5.
Here they were a team of 4, but
Here they were a team of 4.
and they still managed.
You're sometimes a team of 4.
Sometimes it happens. I mean, you can compare it to getting spawn beat, right?
Yeah.
And still teams manage to come back from that. So that's also the case here. Hey, welcome from the white shot in the studio. We're in the crane right now.
We're in the crane.
The crane.
No one's on the crane.
No one's on.
The crane is going to stay there,
So-
on the floor. There's so many cameras.
How many are there?
Well, they're numbered.
Not all of them are numbered.
There's 37 cameras.
Yes. We have so many shots we can show you.
All we need is a camera behind us.
So we can just turn like, we also are from here.
I can only imagine one thing, that obviously we don't have eyes on the Twitch chat, but how much of it is just MonkaS right now? Well, if you were to put a
Drop time.
percentage to it. Exclamation mark. No, I'm not going to say it, because us two personally have caused heck for
Yes, we
native.
have.
Many a time.
But we
gonna do that again.
were there
Thank you.
during his birth.
A big Hamburg.
Hamburg.
Yeah, an event. We were the first there. But a big thank you actually to the mod team, who have been exceptional so far. I've heard. My mum even complimented them. She's watching.
really?
Yeah, she's watching from home. She said they're doing a very good job. Thank you, mod
There
team.
you go. Fluke's mom says you're doing a good job. You can.
And
No,
she's a teacher, so it's very hard.
That's it.
I guess some of the other things that you want to look at as well is obviously they were discussing where a map could go. From this, they were discussing obviously how an attacking map could go from this and what shapes an attacking villa.
Well, what does shape an attack side of Villa? It's not like the bands because we get Thatcher, Nomad, Maestro, Mira.
Yeah.
It doesn't really say attack sided because Thatcher hinders you very badly, and that's also something we did not see any breach denial.
No.
A Kaid could have solved all our issues as well. It's an extra C4. They're not creating extra angles. You'll be free to move through.
The thing about the Kaid in that role is if it's played by hands that are comfortable and confident with the TCSG or, however they want to rock it, the angles that you can get from dug in from behind bar right towards that default plant spot as well, phenomenal. You often, you'll see that area played. I still am a big fan of the Goyo. I think would be really, really good for them here, just in how they seem to be playing. They want to be a little bit stepped off. We've always had one body inside gunvault that's been completely uncontested. They are not trying to break open the gunvault wall at all. They're going to just leave that and go through Bread's door.
All right, let's just theory craft. We're going to be creating the lineup they would need to stop this attack.
Okay.
We're going to go for, first we're going to need 2 pieces of denial.
Mm-hmm.
Echo's open, we could use that.
Echo is open.
And then either Smoke or Goyo.
Yep.
One of those two. Now, Goyo has the shields and a C4.
Yeah. Smoke has the smoke shotgun. If you're
That is
confident
true.
at just swinging against that
And I mean,
landing
on that range, if you swing from the vault door, you can shoot anybody who's holding an angle.
Yeah. It's if you're confident, if you're aggro with these guns, if you are, I am gonna win. You have to. The English shotguns. Here's a lesson for anyone that is in chat. If you want to kill someone with the English shotguns, you have to believe that you're gonna kill them.
The more you believe,
The more you
better it
believe, it's like.
Do you even know
fairy
the full
dust.
name?
What?
Do you even know the full name of the English shotgun as a British person?
No.
All right.
Do you want to give me the full name?
I think, not totally sure. It's
Okay, you can't- no, okay, hang on.
M590A. I'm not British. I think it's the
I can't read.
M590A1.
Okay, well, we'll fact check that. You get a poll. It's
That's correct.
correct!
Oh, okay. Yeah, absolutely.
Does this mean Hap gets
Flip.
100% on spelling bee? Like, give me a word. 10 points to Benelux.
Let's go.
Medic says. Okay, we're going to have a quick break, unfortunately. We'll be back as I try and wipe away the shame of just being outspelled by Hap. See you soon.
this dark force. I won't give up. Fear to spawn. Your faith drives me. I believe in your power. Help me face my demons. With you on my side, the glory is close. High faith in you. We will change our destiny.
Bonjour.
Bonjour.
Welcome back. It's me, Bridget Bardot. And
Hap.
I don't and Hap. French actor, Hap. We're going to go back into this game. We've had a rehost. There's been a substitution. Unfortunately, there has been a power cut in one of the players' areas. So there's been a stand-in order approved by mods. So, hey, let's keep this show rolling. Now, obviously, when you talk about this kind of situation, as actually has come up in some of the Tier 3 stuff that I've done recently in the UK, massive. I know I mention it every time, but I love them with my heart. There was a sub for a certain unknown player, an up-and-comer by the name of Ben Citizen McMillan, subbed in for a team instead of MonkaS, and everyone was like, oh, how's this going to change it? And it actually made them perform worse because it wasn't their usual roster. Now, we did just see MercenarieZ take a game. They took a round with a 4 versus 5, as you put it, a player was spawn peaked. Now, they're obviously got a stand-in. They've got...
They got the Echo.
They do have the Echo.
Let's go.
Defenders protect
You hit
bombs.
pointed that very quickly. MonkaS have picked up the Echo, and, well, I guess it's seeing how this obviously changes things. I believe the pickup there is Maker, is the one who has now replaced Doctor and instantly slotted in the same position. Now, Maker, to be fair, was in my research for this team. Is known and obviously has the tag as well. So it's a player, obviously, who can bring some solidity to them. It's not going to be as out there as bringing in someone who has otherwise never really played with you or hasn't had that recent experience. You know, Maker is a flex player for them. And it's from the same region. Flex is what Doctor does too. Slight differences on preference of who they want to play, but in the same breath, they've both picked up Jackal very quickly. Let's see if MercenarieZ can roll it.
Would you say that they have a 6-man roster in this case?
I would.
Okay.
Maybe I would say they have an even more man roster, because I don't know how many fans they have, but the fans are the best member of any team's roster, Hap.
That is true. That is definitely true. But no, like we used to have 6-man rosters more often. If you remember, OG Penta.
Imagine if we could have like subs, like in football. Like if you bring in like if the player gets tired and you just bring in a couple of extra players. It's like subbing you in. You have like an attack lineup, and you bring in a centre back towards the end if you want to keep a hold of your lead.
Do we do red cards as well then?
That'd be interesting, yeah. I mean, well, they do.
They could do T-back, yellow.
Get sent
Don't
off.
do that.
Miss a couple of games. Turkey. Looking towards a different site now. They're looking to try and take control of Trophy Statue. Now, obviously, this is a site that offers its own difficulties and troubles, but look at the pace at which MercenarieZ are clearing out the other side. You'll often see some teams set an external roamer. They'll lock in towards AVG side, where we can see them roaming around now, or clearing out now, and making sure they have it locked down. They haven't done that, MonkaS. They're playing a more solid backline hold. They're locking down both sides. I'm curious to see where QB on the Valkyrie is, because so far the Valk has been their consistent roamer underneath it, with obviously the C4, with the cameras, a great bit of utility, but they're actually playing on site.
They are playing on site as well, indeed. There's quite some information being gathered right here as IQ is trying to deal with all this information. Spots out some of the discs and a yokai drone as well. And in the meantime, Line slowly moving up on these red stairs, wanting to go for a flank, but he's going to be taken down. Unfortunately, Maker chasing him down will be able to pick up that kill. Instantly takes out some of the utility as well, as that is going to be putting Mercs into that driver's seat position. This time they'll start out with 5. That's a bit sloppy to use a double impact right there, as well, it was previously spotted out by MI7. There was 2 of those. Well, my discs there, Fluke.
They're trying to battle around the stuffed deer, but they can't quite make it land either side of that close corner, looking towards the area of split and looking through the skull of QB, through the bomb chassis. Now they almost got the plant down. The Echo comes in clutch for there, gets the pings and stops the diffuser. They have to swing around to stop it at that moment in time, and they're going to try and double down and do it again. Now, obviously, without that Echo, they've been able to just get a bullet through and get the force down.
It went down.
It goes down only just. They get 2 kills. Another one comes in for Lusty Boy. They find themselves now with a slight man advantage, but they're on the timer. There is a post-plant situation, and the watch is currently from deep. Gisk rotating the Echo drone to give the intel is a very clever move, with the Legion going down too. They're playing against the time, but underneath there's an explosion that blows the feet and the ankles, and the bullets follow through. There's one, there's a great trade. The cover comes through, a triple kill, as they've got to rotate round. They know exactly where the Echo is. He's down, and there is Legion to find it. 2 men lying on the floor, but the diffuser ticks. No more.
If only there was a Zofia in this case. Just picking yourself up, that would have been the absolute end. But Monka will be able to pick up their first kill. Or first round, I must say. They got some more kills, but it's going to be 2-1 now. Trophy statue working out a bit better for them, but still wasn't completely flawless. The plant went down, and often you see that as soon as that diffuser goes on the ground, it is really hard for an attacking team to give that one away. But it was followed up with quite some kills on the likes of MonkaS' side, and that is what eventually pulled them through.
Firefly with a 3k there. Really, really great response to things going around. Obviously, they almost stopped the diffuser entirely in its tracks at that moment in time. The wide swing to be able to pull it apart and then go from there to get the rest of the round through. Really, really well played there. What I also really liked was the rotation underneath. They knew how their opponents wanted to play that entire post plant under their idea.
I'm just a bit confused at what Hasib was thinking as soon as he opened up from below onto the diffuser. He was looking at a horizontal level instead of actually on the diffuser already. If he would have looked there, he would have been able to pick up the kill quite clearly, not taking as much damage as he did. Would have maybe let him survive into the second gunfight as well. So it's, well, just a small mistake coming through, but nonetheless, Monka managing to pick up that round eventually, bringing it to 2-1, making sure that there is not that big of a difference yet.
Now, as they set themselves up for an AVG hold, obviously they've tried it twice and neither's really clicked. Hey, who's that in the hands of Gisk?
Smoke.
Yeah.
There we go. We're getting that extra denial in. I'm sorry, I had to...
I mean, we only talked about it a lot.
We only talked about it a lot, so... They have caught on. That's good.
It's good. It shows that they're looking for the adaptations. And obviously, when you're kind of looking and you're trying to grow on a site, having that ability to stop them being able to have the immediacy of the plant. You've got to think of it, as you said, you can play it at your feet or on the other side of the vault door to be able to stop that default plant. Doesn't entirely stop it. Obviously, if the team are cunning enough, they can dig in behind the strategy map.
How can we see that, medics?
And then get the diffuser from that point on. They're currently watching I Move to Lion, Ishan, who is looking to roam around the kitchen area and seeing if they can catch anybody unaware. Now, this was another thing that we pointed out as well. The roam was a slight bit different, but Maker is actually seemingly aware of the Jaeger beneath. Trying to pop this hatch, finally does. They seem to have, I'm assuming, pre-placed that's giving the game away that somebody is playing close by, and they want to try and shut him down before they go any further.
Did you mean somebody or somebody?
That I used to know.
Yeah. Anyway, Lion hoping to move up Astro stairs, but going back down again. Just rotating and roaming a little bit on this first floor, hoping to be a nuisance. Can you just quickly zoom in on the strategy table in the meantime, just so we know whether or not it is?
What do you mean whether we know it is or not?
I don't want to know if it's a strategy
It's a
table
map.
or not. It's a map, but look, you see those little dots in it?
It's from the game Ruse, Medics thinks.
I don't know what that is, sorry. What's ruse?
Well, a ruse is when you deceive somebody.
Oh, okay.
Like this man, going on the deep roam through wine. Now, wine is a flaw. Rarely seen, to be honest, for what is a massive play space. It's one of those areas where a lot of teams will kind of ignore it completely because it's so hefty, especially when you're looking at this site as well. There's already more than enough to rotate and cause trouble beneath, and, well, going that deep means you've got to make something of it. Unfortunately, Hasib makes something of you, as Ishan is taken out before they can really put any structure into their roam. Now it's just 48 seconds for them to actually try and get this plant down. Firefly still has control of Long with the Legion, making sure that nobody gets in, but there is a bit of destruction that's come from the Habana, so they're looking to try and take that from the window. You don't see that too often, because it's one of those plays where a jump out underneath could be monumentally dangerous, and there's often an extension just into this corridor with a shield. Again, Goyo, love to see it.
Could be indeed, and there we go, trying to waste the ADS if it's still there. The barbed wire will be destroyed, and that surely would be forcing Maker to go for it, but the smoke canister will be tossed in. Look at the time, 15 seconds left. They need to hurry now. Grenade will be tossed in. Maker needs to hurry up. Only now the X-Cars will go up, but Lusty Boy will be able to pick up the kill. That means there is no steady control. Picks up one and doesn't pick up the second one as Hasib will be moving in, but he will be taken down. A double kill from QB. And it's eventually Firefly to finish it off. Round number 4 will go to Monka as well. It's 2-2.
Okay, I know I don't like to be like, hey, casters, we know what we're talking about sometimes. But look at how that played out. With the tweaks that we were like, this would be great. This would be the change. Haps Dream roster thrown across the top of the screen in shining lights.
There we
It
go.
worked.
2-0.
2-0.
Monka, dude.
2 rounds in a row. Let's make it 3, MonkaS. MonkaS. Doesn't sound right. It's got to be MonkaS, doesn't it?
It's either MonkaS or you just say
MonkaS.
Monka.
Monka.
Like
2-2.
2-2.
2-2 Mercenaries.
You have to up.
Obviously, it's worth pointing out that after the rehost, they are playing with a different player. They couldn't get their original roster in, which is always going to be a little bit of a, oh, this isn't great. Because yes, yeah, they are part of the roster. They are part of the org. They are part of the structure. But you go in with 5 of you that have been prepping for this game, getting your headspace there all day, and suddenly 2 rounds in, 2 rounds up, you have to try and change things up and change how things work together. And, well, this is what could happen. You start to slow down. You don't quite have the fire that you brought into this immediacy. Let's see if they can find it again. Because the opening 2 rounds, even when they were 1 down, they were able to find some solidity and find some comfort in the way that they could lock down what MonkaS were trying to do.
All right. Just got confirmation from Medics. It's indeed from the game boost.
It's a Ubisoft game.
It's a Ubisoft game.
A Ubisoft game and a Ubisoft game.
Wow.
This whole map.
Would have imagined. I mean, there's also an Assassin's Creed.
Yes.
Rank,
This
so-
whole map is just Easter eggs.
Thank you.
Thank you, Medics. Love you, Medics. Follow us Twitter at EasyR6.
I think it's Easy R6S, actually.
Oh, is it? Ah. Well, don't follow EasyR6 then. No, it's Medics, obviously, is observing this one. Easy's doing the next game and did the first. Hey, this map, it's like a love letter to Ubisoft, I think. There's so many little, like, hey, look,
Little
hey, we
things.
just did, there's a little sprinkling of Assassin's Creed. There's a little sprinkling
Here.
of Ruse.
And there. I mean, maybe even the statues have something to do with it. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if that's the case. But, Maker. Now I'm starting to look at everything as Easter. It's like, I have been turned on, but it's going to be a line that gets turned off as Maker will be able to pick up the first kill. But Hasib follows that one up. QB taken out. MI7 takes down Firefly. Suddenly, the entirety of MonkaS will be dismantled in a heartbeat. There's going to be some track stingers deployed. It's a 2-on-5 situation with 1 minute and 45 seconds left on the clock. Fluke, that's a lot of time to hold the attackers off.
Huge amount of time. Now, they've kept the hatch up here hard, so often you'll see sometimes if they go for the vertical control, they'll leave it soft and try and drop over the top. Here, obviously, that hasn't quite worked. They're obviously in a situation of a 5 versus 2 where they've lost a huge amount of utility and a huge amount of possibility and what they can do to try and counter this. The soft destruction is steadily making things harder inside the site as they look to try and get some control, and the C4 is unfortunately whiffed. Doesn't catch the legs of anybody. As we hit that minute 15 mark, you can hear the hard destruction starts to make its way towards the site, and it's going to get very tricky for those bodies inside now.
Gisk will be taken down from top by Taha. And leaves it all up to Lusty Boy. If he can clutch just as well as Lusty can, this could be a promising round, but it's Mercenaries that will be able to take that round home. It's a flawless one, and thus they retake that lead after they just lost it.
Yeah, that was a really, really well-played round from them. Again, I think it kind of screams what we saw at the beginning from MonkaS, was they didn't really seem like they had a hold on the site itself. Very quickly, they lost a couple of bodies. Unfortunately, I believe Ishan, Lion, has been the opening death for of the 5 rounds so far, and generally to different members of Mercenaries every single time. Their roam game isn't quite coming through because the roam clear from Mercenaries really, really tight. One of the things that they said to me at the very beginning of this was that we're a team that's built of IGLs. We're actually, 3 of us were IGLs on different teams and kind of came together to build this roster. So because of that, the communication that they bring and their control and understanding of what they need to get on the map is apparently their best feature, and why they're able to quite consistently get these big bits of control and try and just shepherd the defenders into more uncomfortable positions, most notably 6 feet under and watching on the cameras.
Which one is the IGL, though?
Of the current roster?
Of the 3 IGLs.
Of the 3 IGLs? I guess it's one of the things where they kind of balance it round. They talk about it. Hasib, I believe, is the one that is the in-game IGL.
The Ash, okay. You don't often see that.
Yeah, that was the one that was given to me. Hasib was the Ash and the Maestro player. I believe they're going to be playing on their defenses.
It's also a weird combination.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing as well, because I was talking to, unfortunately, the player who disconnected. Doctor was the one I was talking to about all this stuff, and he said, well, okay, every single player I talked to, when I was like, who's going to pop off? Who's the one the audience should keep their eye on? All of them said, me, and then and then someone else. And then someone else on this roster was actually Hasib.
Watch me.
Watch me. I'm going to be great, but also so is Hasib. So if you guys want an idea of who's going to be popping off on that side, that is who.
You know, to watch out for the Ashmate. Getting quite some good kills. 3-2 though, in the meantime. There's one more round to go before site swap comes through. I think I dare to say MercenarieZ having a pretty good half under the belts already with 3 attacking rounds. And the thing is though, they're going back to trophy stat tree, one that they managed to win before, but just barely.
Yeah, and I think it's one of the ones where obviously it kind of came down to a 1 versus 1 firefight. There was a great quick amount of drone clear here across the big opposite side of this floor. And yeah, there's some hard walls, there's some kind of put together of an idea of a defense, but they very quickly abandon it. And whether it's because of the pressure that's applied by MercenarieZ or MonkaS just see this be done in other regions and want to try and adapt it into their style and don't quite have the confidence on the show day, either way, it's quick territory and quick ground that MercenarieZ seem very comfortable to just lock out. The gridlocks is obviously a change you picked up on last round, where it's going to just make those rotations that they've been quite freewheeling about even tougher. And unfortunately, for the 5th time in a row, that's Ishan off the board first.
Indeed, we have to mention though, MercenarieZ been to Villa 4 times. Over there, I believe that was 9 maps, I believe, in total, or 10 maps even, that they have played in the actual playoffs to get to this stage. So Villa is not unknown ground for them. As Lusty will be able to take down one of these drones. Deny a little bit of information, but look at that. We still have about 3, oh no, only 3 left on the board. That's not too much for MercenarieZ, especially not with 50 seconds left on the clock. And as there's still 4 players left alive, it might come to rely purely onto the gun skill of these players. And in the meantime, the plant's already going down. Are they going to be aware of that? That's the question. The Yokai drone is not in position to try and cancel and will not be in position either. And that means we're in an after plant situation. 40 seconds on the clock, Fluke. They need to go for a retake. QB will be taken down. Yes, there we go. And that leaves them very handicapped.
There's the opener there under the defuse. We saw a body around Kitchen as well. There is another rotation that's coming out from the hands, and there it is. Lusty Boy pushes around the backside and catches one as Firefly gets the top as well. They're looking to try and get the diffuser. They're going to stick it to the best of their ability, but no, they don't get the flank. Watching MercenarieZ. 3 kills in less seconds as they lock off the end.
There we go, Hasib, the player to watch. Able to clear the bottom floor and instantly snapping onto the diffuser, or the diffuser. Getting that kill in, and that means 4-2 right now for MercenarieZ. Normally we would say if you get 4-2 in the attack, that is super favorable, but we have heard that I believe that these two like to go to attack every now and then.
Last time they were here, both teams 4-2 apiece on the attack rounds. Obviously, that is a very rare occurrence for a trip around the Easter egg-laden mines of Villa. But in the same way, in the same method where we're talking about it, obviously this is a region we don't know. It's a region we've not really seen anything of. There was only 1 game streamed from the big final. And, well, it was the big final. We only saw that very end reverse sweep where MercenarieZ went the first 2 maps down and were able to pull themselves back in. Very close, though. There was 2 rounds away from being beaten out by one of the teams we'll be seeing later today.
Union, that is
yes,
taking on Kira. And Kira is actually 3-2 ahead in maps, even though they didn't reach that upper seed.
Yeah, that was one of the things as well. For those who are wondering about how it might play out a little bit later, we're looking at currently the top seed and the bottom seed. Now, MonkaS, although they were able to pull a lot of rounds from teams, they were never able to actually pull any maps. They didn't take any maps from any of the other 3 competitors they're knocking heads with. However, MercenarieZ were able to stay in the upper bracket all the way till the end to take the grand prize. The other 2 teams that we'll see later on today, Kira and Union, which I'm sure our analyst desk are going to give us loads of pretty painted pictures and stories about, well, they were viciously back and forth. Nobody out of this region could separate them. Everybody had a different answer as to who they thought would be the ones that find the way and the success today and find themselves in the final. And either way, it boiled down to at the end of the day, it could be either of them. So that's going to be a very intense game to watch because apparently the boots of second and third are very much akin in pace.
Look at the lineup that MercenarieZ is bringing. We do see the smoke, we do see a clash, we see a Jaeger, and actually Wamai as well, and then a C4 onto the Bandit. So if there was any lack of denying on the likes of MonkaS, there is definitely no lack of denying stuff on the likes of MercenarieZ. And that means that Monka is going to have a really hard time, first of all, clearing out this clash. He will be surrounded by tons of anti-projectile devices and potentially receiving some help from either the Wamai or Jaeger as well.
Yeah, Clash currently obviously could become a big victim if they get more control over the staircase, but this is the kind of extension I was talking about that we didn't really see from MonkaS. Look at the bodies that are moving and manipulating around long. Look at how they're applying some reverse pressure to the windows. They're making sure that it's not even a matter of getting comfortable close to the site. They're not letting them get comfortable on the same section of floor. They're going to keep that little bit of safety, that aura, that bubble of protection, and then they're also going to keep QB and a couple of other players under watch. Lusty is able to take care of Hasib and move to Lion, finds Maker as well. Finally finding themselves on the positive end of a firefight on their attacks. Me7 is there to get almost a quick double, leading to a triple. The man is down. But with Firefly on the opposite side of a very tough journey, it's going to be a long trip, unfortunately, into the next round.
It's MI7 to secure that round. MercenarieZ with that to put themselves up to 5 rounds. Many might have expected that, but they're putting it up on the board now. 5-2, 2 away from winning map number 1, 2 away from setting your first foot into that grand final.
So far, every single round, the opening kill has gone to the side of MercenarieZ. Every single time they've been able to get that opener. And how important that has been for them, I guess, can be obviously seen in the results. Me7, 9 kills, 1 death.
After rehost.
After rehost,
So
yeah.
there's even more kills.
And did get killed. Well, got the opener of the entire game against
what I mean.
Gisk. So, hey, they've come here swinging. That's the thing about this roster as well, is they are new. Both of these two are. Maybe that's one of the reasons that Kira and Union are so hard to separate, is because they are two long-standing rosters. Ones that have been around the scene as their kind of entity, whether it's been a core of 3 or 4. Either way, you have a beating heart of a team. You build the body around it. Whether you change your arm into a cool new robot arm that's actually a fragger instead of a flex player, it's still the same person. It's still the same body. These are two fresh bodies put together like Frankenstein's monster, and today they're trying to shoot each other. And I think in ways it's kind of a little bit more apparent.
I'm trying to keep up with the analogy right here. You know, which of these players has a metallic arm, would you say?
Well, no, that's the next
the
two
team.
teams. You're not listening
okay.
to me.
Sorry. I was confused. Listen up.
If you have the same heart, mind, and soul of a team, whether you give them a fresh, cool new arm or not, won't change the heart, mind, and soul. Whereas this is a fresh heart, a fresh mind, a fresh soul, and a fresh arms and legs all together, because that's all you need to make a person. I am not the doctor out of this broadcast team. I am not the one with a physics degree.
You don't watch anime either, right?
I'm not the one that watches anime or does whatever Des does. Wears t-shirts of his own company.
So
I'm not Statman. I'm the one. I am Bridget Bardot. I am the one that shouts really loudly about things very quickly.
I like the hold they're trying to put up here into Walking Closet. Trying to deny it, but look at that, the body blocking from MI7 onto these flashbangs, making sure that the C4 coming actually through, but will not be hitting. I like the body blocking, I'm going to say again, blocking out the ADSs.
This is the hold I was talking about, exactly where Me7 is. One of the things where you get a bit external. You lock yourself in with a Wamai, with a Doc, with loads of ADSs, and you just eat all of the utility. Because teams laser focus in on you. They try and get you out, they put everything they can into getting control, and it makes them a little bit off the piste. It makes them a little bit unsure of how they can actually enter and how they can actually take this bedroom. so they're free to stay in there. And hey, the longer he's alive, the more powerful he gets. Unfortunately, it's not going the same way for the other members of MercenarieZ. Worth pointing out, this is the first round. They haven't actually got the opening kill, and they've got the first 3 deaths instead. A 5 versus 2 goes down to a 4 versus 2 from a team kill. Gisk accidentally taking care of the Hibana, and the hard destruction's off, but now it is only down to the unfortunate Riho standing downs 2. But unfortunately falls 1 short. Ishan, a player who unfortunately couldn't quite find any ground in the opening half of this Villa, locks off the round, which is the first on the board in quite a while for MonkaS.
The main issue I had with the hold right there was the fact that they had no information. And yes, you can play in walk-in closet and you can make it very viable, but if you're not going to get any information, there's 3 angles you have to worry about. The bathroom, the actual closet window, and the bedroom itself. Now, it is easily solvable. You bring an Ella. You get these Grismot mines, you bring the FO12 shotgun, meaning you only need 1 shot on that range, and it's absolutely a bunker that no one will be able to come through. However, they did not bring that, and thus, it was pretty easily to crack through that defense.
Yeah, it's one of those things, obviously, where, okay, here's a good idea. Here's what we're seeing teams do and how they're adapting to it. And again, you look at how long Wamai's been in the play pool, it's a new adaptation. It's a new flavor to the wonderful buffet Villa can offer defenders. But as you said, just being able to replicate some of the bits does in no way guarantee the results we see these top teams, the ones that are consistently pushing this tactical development envelope and how they can kind of structure themselves. The most obvious example is the SSG defense. To them, by them, it looks easy. It's clockwork. Every angle and every idea has been thought about by the big brains of Lycan, Canadian, and everybody else on that team who are phenomenal. Then we start to see a lot of other teams try it. They have a look at the fact that they've brought a castle and they've thrown a Vigil or a Mozzie upstairs. Oh, it's way more than that.
It is. I'm not really sure the setup they're putting. Can we just quickly zoom in onto walk-in closet? Because I'm a fan of playing a shotgun in this space, right? Yeah. Because you're going to be able to play around with it a lot. Now, I get what MI7 is doing here, but he also has a shield. Put the shield in the door right here instead of where Mind Freak is currently, Ninja Freak is currently playing. He could be playing from the bathroom, still be, you know, not being able to be hit by anything. Ninja goes inside with the walk-in closet, the Wamai supports from the back. You just swap those 2 around. Wamai tosses in these discs time and time again every single second to just make sure that no projectiles will come through. And suddenly have a way more viable hold.
IQ doing the work they need to there and being able to take care of the Valkyrie cams to lead the lead. And Ninja lying in wait and living up to his name as we see some ADS start to be burnt and a C4 tears and blows on nobody. Lusty Boys battling Hasib on the window. Again, a big player to look out for because they were harped as being a big entry. There is another disc thrown to the wall by Me7, put in an angle where it's just a little bit tough to see and a little bit harder to hit, but in no way impenetrable. He is desperate to get aggro on this window. He wants this firefight and wants this bloodshed, but Hasib is the one that gets the first, and the second falls very quickly to Me7, who finds just 1 more body. Now, it is a 3 versus 5. They still have the diffuser, have the hard destruction, and a lot of soft too, but unfortunately that's getting thinner and thinner as Me7 in the walk-in claims a second.
Aggression really working out now as Firefly's receiving some pressure as well. There is 80 seconds on the clock, and well, Monka find themselves in a 2-on-4 situation, still really occupied with that walk-in closet. And now the jump-in will come through, but he's getting fully flashed by his teammate right there. Are they aware of the fact that he is inside? That is the big question here. And, well, look at Ninja Freak, he's still available right here to put up some damage, but he will be taken down. Suddenly, we find ourselves in a 2-on-3 situation. Active as Me7 is still down. The reset comes through. Firefly will be picked back up, but 55 seconds is still plenty of time to work with. You just need to find the right angles. Firefly soon jumping in that walk-in closet. Has to be careful though. Hasib in the meantime put himself into a position to actually get some information out. Really smart play right here, but the drone not giving away anything. The jump ins come through. Firefly will be taken down. It's going to be time with the final one as well. To Gesk and MercenarieZ will be able to win round number 9, put themselves up onto 6, and that means 1 away from that point.
Well, that was a little bit more confidence in the hold, and if anything, a bit more confidence in the guns of Mercenaries. We saw both Hasib and Me7 challenging the 2 windows that they were put under the guard of. Obviously, towards the Astro Stairs, it was against the man on the window. Upside down repelling and trying to cause problems there is a big part of your push against here. You have to be able to lock off the escape angles. You have to try to isolate, infiltrate, and another word that ends in 8 that is about killing. I was going to say exonerate. Assassinate! That's so much better than any of this. Thank you.
There you go. No worries.
Either way, you have to be able to have that pinch, because if you don't, if you lose just a fraction of ground in Villa, it's such a big map that it makes things harder for the attackers, because it's so easy for defenders to slip away. And then I've already briefly mentioned the huge heft that the Wine offers, that you have an entire floor that is rarely touched, that is purely built for rotation and escape. Maybe we'll see some of that become a dynamic part of these teams. You never really know on Villa, because as I said, it's big.
It is very big indeed, but keep in mind, we see the same setup coming down again from round number 7 that was, where Mercenaries completely picked apart Monka. As the clash comes back, the Jaeger and the Might combination is there as well. The smoke will be brought with that shield, and then we have to bend it with that 1C4 piece to finish it all off. And well, there is only 3x Kairos available for Hard Breach, and we'll have to use them well. And if again these bandit batteries will be put up the same day as they were before, they need to go for a fall push, otherwise there's nothing they can do.
That is so aggressive from Ninja
There's nothing
Freak.
they can do against it.
No, that's it. They have Ashe and they have Zafir, but until you're close enough to try and capitalize upon that, all Ninja Freak has to do is, just a jump to the left or a step to the right. And then they're completely safe from anything that might be trying to cause them harm from a huge amount of range. Now they're taking control underneath. It's a particular Claymore in that situation. I'll be surprised if that catches anyone, but generally what we've seen from Mercenaries is they're not going too huge on the roam. They're all the way across the top floor, sure. You see them on the far side towards Astro, with Maker playing as the connector towards landing, but in the same breath, they're not playing on that first floor. They're happy to say, come up to us, and we will meet you with the firepower you should expect. And there it is. Me7 opens it up yet again against QB.
Have to be careful though, because I believe Hasib is down prone, hoping to challenge down on the Zofia, who is playing down below. As Gisk right here from the window, hoping to put down some pressure line. In the meantime, below as well, but there's a roamer actually here is going to be able to somehow pick up that kill. Taha messing it up. He's going to be able to bring it back to a 4-on-4 though, as extra flashbangs are being tossed in, and just that stun keeps on coming through from Ninja Freak onto these players. And yet again, look at how focused they are, how lasered they are on the likes of Study, as Move Lion will be able to pick up a double kill, takes down Maker in the process. And that means that they are actually in the advantage right now. MonkaS has that one-man advantage. Are they going to be able to push on to it? Not really, as Me7 will be able to pick up a double kill for himself. It's going to be Ninja Freak now on that clash, playing a crucial position as he's actually occupying 2 players right here from that Study door. Is going to be able to hold them off for quite some time right here. But look at the times, Fluke. There's still a minute left. That's plenty of time to actually make something happen on the attack.
Yeah, they're trying to get a bit of confidence on the landing side. They're looking to just pinch again, as I talked about. It's a game and it's a map of finding the holes, finding the sides. And unfortunately for Me7, well, I say unfortunately for MonkaS, Me7's playing find the heads of anyone who gets close. This close shotgun again in the hands of the smoke. This is exactly what we wanted. And Hasib is delivering it. There's Clash, stemming the roll. There's the swing against the man. Isn't going to risk it. It's just going to go for the most important bit, which is the utility. Fires into the smoke and finds them anyway. It's a 3 versus 1. The only hope they have left on Villa is a buck against the Clash, who tried to Bikini Bodhi. But unfortunately it went, oh no, D.
Come on, Fluke. Can't do that on the last one. He tried to go for a 360. Alright, nice one. Okay, I'm going to give you that.
Thank you.
There you go.
It's okay, famous French actor hat. I mean, for me, I think obviously Mercenaries, they were technically the favorites. They were number 1. They were in such a good position.
Look at Me7.
A 15-2, my
God.
word. That is, to be fair, everything he was doing was all the stuff that I really wanted to see from MonkaS. It was all of this like positioning. It was the aggression. It was the confidence. from a man leading the aggro on a team that has come in the #1 seed. We haven't seen that too often this tournament. Sometimes the #1s have looked a bit shaky. Here, Mercenaries went, no, we were the top of South APAC, and we are remaining there.
Mercenaries literally did what we said MonkaS should do.
Yep.
They literally put it up, textbook almost, and executed it really well. And Me7, of course, playing behind that clash. You can say 15-on-2. It's still pretty impressive. By the way, don't get me wrong. But if like playing behind the clash is basically, you know, the extra shield is like playing a mirror window that moves around. So he was able to pick up a lot of kills from that. But absolutely stunning performance right there from Mercenary.
We're going to go to a quick replay and commercial break, and then, well, a couple of good friends of ours sitting somewhere over there are going to break down what we just saw. See you in a bit.
Nice shot for me! Perfect!
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the analyst desk. What an exciting kickoff. Our first time ever getting to see the South Asian region. And I have to say, Mercenaries, everybody was talking them up, but they did not disappoint in Villa. Let's start off with the first half. 4-2 on attack on Villa. Not too shabby.
I mean, yeah, not too shabby. And it is kind of crazy given everything that we know about this map, but also we do have to go back to what we said at the start, which was that both of these teams feel so much more confident on the attack. And so knowing that, and knowing that that's the specific playstyles that we expect from this region, I'm not too surprised from that perspective. What makes it more impressive is the kind of hardship that was faced at the start, which was, of course, they lost one of their players. Now, you come in, this is your first time on the international scale, you're ready to play as a team, and suddenly you've got to change things up. That is where you start to face the prospect that actually everything could go wrong for you. And yet it still didn't.
I got to give a shout out to Taha in that round as well. Yeah. Literally grabbing the round by the scruff of the neck. They had the disconnect. He was on the Zofia. Not only did he find himself 3 kills, but also grabbed the diffuser, planted it, and killed the last guy who contested in post-plant. Literally a round of him saying, this is all about me, guys. I hope you're watching at home.
Well, each person gets their own time in the spotlight, and this is the perfect moment for us to put the spotlight on these players and the talent coming out of the region that we really get to see for the first time ever on the international stage. Speaking of some of the plays that happened, there's one round that I highlighted. It was round number 9, actually, where the entire defense was set up to hold into closet from bathroom. It was a trophy attack, but the attackers kept just tunnel visioning into bedroom instead of making the wiser decision of trying from elsewhere.
You dial it back into round number 8, they were literally exact opposites. Attackers set up in the same spots, defenders set up in the same spots. The first time around, it was all the way the attackers, it was that flawless round. The next round, though, you step back in, it's almost exactly the same, but in reverse. The defenders were the ones who were biting back and dealing a lot of damage to the attackers before they could even get inside the building. And I was like, it goes to show you that both of these teams are very capable, but once you kind of see a mistake in one round, you adapt in the next and bring it forward. Mercenaries just showed they've got that capability.
I mean, you said it there, it really does connect to what happened in round 8, where especially, you know, we saw Ninja Freak on the mute situated in the bathroom. He got taken down really, really quickly because of the attacker who was present on the bathroom window. And that left so much open because to go into walk-in closet, as Hap said in the cast, they're not playing someone on a shotgun there. They were playing a Wamai. There were 2 ADS. You had a couple of magnets there. Once that's all cleared out, you don't have to worry so much about the up-close engagements because you know that someone's going to be positioned there. You lose a guy in the bathroom, you've got all of this space. But when you went into round 9, as you said, Milos, it was so different because they were still playing in these similar positions, but the attack went for a different approach. They didn't manage to, deal in the damage in the same places to the setup as was done in round 8, and it just all fell apart for them.
Yeah, you can't just keep on butting heads. You have to try to go from somewhere else. That's, corner your opponents, cut off their rotations, go for the neck. That's basically it.
I've got to give a huge shout out to Me7 as well. 15-2 after the rehost. If a player is able to step up and in about 7 rounds walk away with 15 kills, an average of 2 per round, that tells you the whole story. And I think it fit really well in that final round. He found 4 kills to himself there. And it isn't just like he's finding these kills in the middle of the round when the rest of his team have done the hard work. He was getting entry round after round after round, stepping up as the big player for them. What do you need except a big game performance like this from one of your players to really say, we're better than you guys, deal with it?
And you might be thinking that it's a one-man show. I definitely don't think so. That final clash round, it definitely showed that, yes, you have a player that is aiming perfectly, right? You're hitting the shots that you need to hit, but there are other players. Yeah, you have information, you have the clash in front of you. All of that works to your advantage, and it takes a hell of a lot of teamwork to get these sort of things running, even though at the end, the trying to run the clash and that bikini body style of rotating around. I mean, it's not the same as standing on a table and trying to do it on bank. But here, still, you can peek around the side and get the kill.
It still requires a level of coordination that I think these two teams probably had low expectations for, just because we didn't know so much about the region, but also we were under the impression that it was going to be hyper aggressive. It was going to be a lot more chaotic, not necessarily so coordinated. So seeing that and working really well for their players is great.
All right, our next map, Theme Park. Let's throw those pick bands up on the screen again. There it is, Villa map 1, picked by Mercs, a very handily one by them, 7-3. Theme Park, picked by MonkaS. Let's look at the history of the map real quick and see what MonkaS need to do to shut down Mercs.
It's less so the history of the map and more the play style that we just saw on Villa that I need to see change here for MonkaS, because you look at one of the rounds, I forget which number it was, but it was super telling. They were defending trophy and stat tree and just fell back time and time again until you had 3 players sat inside of Astro, no one in bathroom, no one in bedroom, no one on site. They just gave everything over to Mercenaries on the attack. On a map like Theme Park, you are going to be starting on attack. When you get into that second half, they need to be so aggressive on the defense. They cannot keep giving room away to Mercenaries like they have so far.
I mean, I think that's a really key thing, because you don't really have the option to fall back on Theme Park, because so many of the sites are in the middle of the map, especially if you're looking at Initiation Office or Armory Throne. You have to kind of guard 2 different directions, especially, and once there is that point of ingress, it's really easy for attackers to take advantage of if they're playing aggressively.
And how do you do that? You hold long angles, or you perform what is called a defense in depth, which is extending over to 1-2 rooms in front, maybe trying to...
A perimeter defense.
Exactly. It makes a lot of sense. It's the easiest way to do it, and it ties more into the newer age of playing Siege, which is, this utility sync meta. It is built in as the defenders use everything that they have to extend out, burn your utility. So once you're down to the actual site, you're forced to take gunfights, and the defenders usually have the advantage in this one, especially since attackers have lost majority of their drones in that situation. Though, looking at this, would you guys change your pick of Mercenaries going to...
I would double down on it, to be honest with you. Given, again, Mercenaries are going into defending first, more likely than not, unless they've got a suicide wish and actually wish to start an attack on Theme Park. No team should be in that spot. I think they've got this. Their defenses look good. Were they absolutely rock solid and bulletproof? No, but good enough. I think that they'll get a good few rounds. We'll switch halves, and that's when I think you're really going to struggle to see solid defenses coming out of MonkaS.
Yeah, I think, look, we were expecting both these teams to have much stronger attacks than defenses, and even so, Mercenaries, their defensive side shut down the attack of MonkaS. I think if their strength is still looking like a weakness, it puts Mercenaries in a much better position.
All right, let's see how Theme Park shapes up between these two teams. 7-3 was the scoreline for map number 1, ending up in Mercenaries' side. But let's see if MonkaS can bring it back and take it to Consulate map 3. Theme Park is where all of this will go down. Wild Ride with Fluke and Hap, all yours.
Hi.
Hey.
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 Hello. Bye. Bye.
It's up to us now.
Bye.
Is it not? It's up to us now, right?
It's up to us now. In a little bit, it's up to us.
But
But if
also-
I'm entirely honest, it's mainly up to you guys in the game right now. You got a lot ahead of you. Obviously, we've already kind of complimented and seen, as those guys did brilliantly, was how Mercenaries were able to adapt and overcome. They are pretty much stepping and firing on a different level right now. And MonkaS are going to be the ones that have to try and meet that. Unfortunately, otherwise they will probably meet their maker on this second map. Now, obviously...
Maker.
Thank you.
On Mercenaries.
Yeah. I've ruined my
It will
flow.
be the maker.
There's a little standoff between, obviously, the two teams there. The bands across Consular, Theme Park even. I don't know why I was thinking Consular. That's the next map, isn't it?
That's the last map in the.
Yeah.
If we go there.
If we go.
If we go.
You really threw me off by complimenting me. I'm not used to it.
For adding to your joke.
Yeah. Hey, Thatcher's gone. That's not the biggest surprise.
Wow.
Well, Thatcher being removed is everybody has commented over this.
On a
desk.
map like
Theme Park.
Theme Park.
Meme Park.
I mean,
MonkaS on Meme Park. If I had the skills of Salty right now, if I had the meme skills of Salty, I would be able to make something funny out of this. But I don't. Jackal's gone from MonkaS, and I think that's a fair removal. It was every single round was in the hands of the Mercenaries.
how much did he actually scan? How often did we see him scanned?
Okay, to me, with this kind of tier, doesn't matter too much. Because you think about how often you see Jackal banned in your ranked games. Whether you're in, obviously, Plat, or whether you're in wherever. That's
I'm
when
in Plat, don't
Yeah,
worry.
yeah, yeah. Okay, I know you are. I mean, there's a whole range of, I guess, ranks across the talent here at the minute. All the way down to the old bronze Dev. Des, not Dev.
Def could be bronze as well, I'm not sure.
Did talent think about why they would have two people with such similar names?
I mean,
Can we rename one of them? Because I'm really...
that will be helpful.
Let's make them fight to the death. Look at this. I'd never noticed this on the back screen before.
It's normally not.
Oh. How we go in.
Just for a bit.
Armory Throne Room. The point I was trying to make before I was derailed by myself was that when you remove a Jackal, it's a mindset changer. Some teams struggle with the concept that they cannot play their way and cannot play their game because he's on the board. He restricts what they can do and restricts where they can go with him. Taking him out of the equation and going, well, we don't have to worry about this anymore, means that for them, they might find a bit of confidence, because that was one of the things I thought they were lacking. They weren't swinging onto their gunfights as consistently as we saw Mercenaries doing. Whether they had the right guns or the wrong guns, Mercenaries definitely had the right idea. Hit them at the doors, hit them hard, hit them heavy, and take control of the action on the doorways and the choke points. Here, maybe, hey, hopefully, MonkaS take this ban, they play without him, and then when they go to their defenses, they play without him. They play without the worry they're going to be tracked down.
All right, we do see that Kali being brought, Fluke, and I'm just thinking, is there any spots here where you could hide your Electric Claw so it doesn't get picked up by the Kali?
Shout out to Strix as well, thank you. Both the teams are popping off. It's so good to watch the match where the best team win. I think that's one of the things from the region as well. I know that you've just mentioned about Kali, and I'll get into that because I love Kali and Kaid's battles on this map. But I'm very quickly going to reference that tweet and say,
That's okay.
every single team was really positive about each other coming onto this stage.
So nice. That's a spawn peak. And it's a field spawn peak.
It doesn't mean they're not going to spawn peek each other.
He definitely met the Maker.
Yeah. Took care of them. QB was able to take care, and that's a big person off the board, obviously, instantly. But Kali versus Kaid, the lifelong battle. Kali on this map, if they're in a talented player's hands, I think there's nowhere that Kaid can really go. With what this map can offer you, yeah, there's one or two spots, but they're just such a good gun here. And I don't know if it's because I saw it a lot in the hands of, I believe it was BDS, are really kind of fans of, I've seen them run Kali on
August
this
as
map.
well.
Yep, August as well. It's just something about this has a bit of fire, has a bit of panache, as I use that word a lot with Dez yesterday, and it works really, really
I
nicely.
don't even know what that word means.
Neither do I.
What is this Claymore?
I'm going to stop trying to guess what French words mean, because I mess them up more often than not.
Okay, so I'm just looking at that Claymore and I'm thinking, if someone walks into this one,
Yeah, okay. Here's a quick tip with Claymores. Don't put them like that. I mean, it doesn't really prevent anything. You want to try and keep the Claymore at an angle where you have to...
want to put it in tight.
Yeah, tight against the wall, so the edges of the red lines cross the footprint, but in the same breath, you don't leave it as easy to get. They can waste an impact to blow it up, sure, but it's the noise that matters. There, they'll make noise to take rid of it or get rid of it, but they can do it with anything. It can be a very subtle noise if timed correctly. Talking of subtlety, obviously, after having the opener pick go against them.
Oh, they are indeed hiding it.
Yeah, MonkaS have wasted no time, though, in applying the pressure.
So smart. I was thinking, where can they maybe hide the electrical and see how much time is being wasted? It is in the bait. Can we just quickly swap back to Kaid? Because it is in that little table right there. If we, I don't know if we can scroll more down, but it's in the center of the screen right now. So it's inside that, underneath, and it just reaches out to grab both. No, wait, there's a second one deployed on the other side of the wall. So there we go. In the corner right here, you see it just on the top of your screen above the beam. There's the second electroclaw, meaning both are not going to be able to be caught by the Kali, which makes it that yellow, the take from there, cannot actually come down. And you see how invested Monka is on trying to double down on that.
Medics just went laughing.
He can't see it.
He said he can't see them, but the cameras he still provided there
Was enough.
It showed them. So whether Medic sees them or not doesn't matter. That's how good
Look, it's on his left now, Medics. Never mind, he's getting taken
dead.
down. He's dead now.
He's dead.
Something else is on his left now to worry about. That's the Kali actually getting sniped down. As Hasib will be able to get that kill. Double kill to come in, 3 on 3. Even though they managed to get a bridge in, it's a quad kill, triple kill to come in. And suddenly Hasib just runs out, gets these kills. Definitely a player to watch. QB wants to go for the chase, but he's going to get taken down as well. There's a quad kill to come through, and Ninja will finish it off. Fluke, you're absolutely dancing around the studio, and I understand why, because Hasib was just dancing between all these players and taking them out one by one.
Hasib with unbelievable bravery charged through, and for me to comment on the fact that this is what MercenarieZ were doing best, that confidence, that knowledge that I'm going to take this firefight and I am going to win it. Hasib just did that with ease, charged through 3 members of the opposing team as they were making their execute. It wasn't that he took them by intense surprise. Well, I guess you always do when you're that bold and brave and go straight over the top and through no man's land. But in the same breath, they were prepping to be covered. They were prepping to have fights, and it meant nothing to him as he decided to take 3, waited for the 4th to come round the corner, and that was his round for the MercenarieZ. And not really a MercenarieZ round.
Now Monka put up a an adaptation. Can you spot it within 15 seconds?
Bep, 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 bep. Carly's gone.
Yes, and they brought a
Maverick.
Indeed, there we go. So now those electroclaws, if they manage to hide them, of course it's not here now. If they would be able to hide them now, it just wouldn't matter. You just simply cut open with your blowtorch a little hole in the wall, which you would be allowed to shoot through or possibly walk through. As yet again, here we see the one snipe coming down onto the Kali, moving through, taking down a second headshot as well. Onto that was the Hibana player. And going aggressive, just so much daring. It's such a daring play coming through right here. It was somewhat expected by the Capital, but not able to get that kill. And thus, MercenarieZ, 1 round up.
Now, obviously, a bit of a change of pace, and they're heading up to the 2nd floor to see if they can make things work over here. Excuse me. Instead, I'm out of breath because I'm gasping so much. A lot of gasping. Or is it gasping? If I was Gio, it would
Gio
be
should
gasping.
be able to say it.
She'd correct me on this. She's nodding her head. Because she went to proper school, and I
This is
didn't.
like, is it gasping or gasping? And then she's like, yes.
She's saying it's gasping.
There we go.
Or she's gasping. For, I don't know.
Now we prefaced.
More action.
Yeah.
Let's get it. Here it comes. We're making the production man who's currently trying to do probably real work, unlike ours, right in front of us. But here comes the pressure now. They've got the diffuser. They haven't got the opening kill. They've opted not to go for the spawn peek this time. To be fair, if you were to try and tilt your opponents, there's a couple of ways to do it on the opening rounds. 1, spawn peek them. Take them out of the action before they even get close. You've taken a map. You're going to try and take a second. The other, harder to pull off, but apparently they did it, an unbelievable reverse sweep to lead to a clutch.
See,
Hasn't stopped.
he doesn't stop. He doesn't miss. He gets QB. Gets that kill. It's the Ash main gone. No more entry fragger on the likes of MonkaS.
Yeah, obviously QB got the opener last time and hasn't been able to match that this time round. And now it's just a matter of seeing if they can find their way through and get a little bit back. They're on the back foot an unfortunately consistent problem on the first map. They were only able to get the opening kill once on Villa. They've already managed to double that.
They matched that.
Yeah, it's the gift of having someone try and spawn peek. But, well, from here on out, let's see what they can do. The C4 goes too deep. The Maverick played close, but it doesn't matter to me. 7 gets 1, but dies in the process. Firefly, who has definitely been illuminating on the hands of MonkaS, has been able to pull something back. Ishan gets 1 more against Ninja Freak, and they're looking for the firefight round the close heavy wall. Big angles being held and big attention being paid with 45 seconds left on the board. They still have time to work with.
Seeb able to pick up yet another kill. It's going to be Taha now to follow that up as well. It's all up to Cruzy now. A 1-on-3 situation. One of the players of Mercenaries is low on HP. He's going to be able to find them. The long angles he has to work with. Still has 2 air jabs in pocket. Could have maybe made use of that, as Maker is in the meantime going for a bit of a flank. There's a note that his right's being watched. Does not manage to get killed or get the kill in a result. As they're counting down from 15 seconds, he will not be able to find the one that just moves through the bathroom, and Maker will be able to spot him out soon for sure as he tries to go for the gunfight here, but it's going to be Mercenaries that is going to be able to pick it up, get that kill as Maker finds the last one, lands it, and boosts them up 2-0.
Well, Mercenaries, their second round was much more fitting to what we saw on the first map than the first round here. Is that just a little bit of shaky wheels that they had coming in on the landing into Theme Park? Will they grow from this? I guess it's time will tell. The pick to the Goyo as we head over to Initiation Room shows again this adaptation that they've had. I've really loved the operator selections. Maybe it's because, for me, it appeals more towards the current Tier 1, and what we're generally seeing, as we said, the differences that we get between these teams is almost like when you see a film that's been out in the, you know, it's been popular globally, and it's still in the cinemas and a lot of other places where maybe at this point it's passed on. Here we get that with old EU strategies in a way. They're still very popular. They're still getting a really great audience. Unfortunately, for MonkaS, Mercenaries, they keep going to the cinema. They keep watching new films. They keep growing their repertoire of ideas and ingenuity that they bring across all of the maps. So here on Theme Park, here or back on Villa, their roster selections, their ideas and their implementations have been par for the course.
At Stowy, I would really like to see Pokemon from the US Challenger League play against MonkaS from South Asia. I think that will be the battle of the emotes.
The thing is, in that game, Natabrit,
he's gonna hate his life.
Well, no. To be fair, any of the mods, Jenny Ye, they could put the chat onto emo only, and it would be exactly the same.
Probably wouldn't change a thing, indeed, except for the occasional Natabrit copy paste that will come out. Gonna have to try and translate that one into emotes as 250 back into the action phase. QB hoping to find an entry this time yet again. Only managed to do it twice so far in the series. Need some more if they want to be able to put up some extra rounds.
Arcade Cabinet becomes a bit of a tension. Cruzy, obviously the last left alive. Nomad was banned last time round, and they're going to try and bring that in with some control of the play space, which, to be fair to Mercenaries, yes, they get aggressive. Yes, they have these moments, but we haven't really seen the air jabs put against those. We haven't, to be honest, seen too many of them put down. They were the last alive at that point, and I didn't really see where their areas of control fell to. A grenade gets caught, nabbed out of the air just in front of the shield, and Firefly is going to ping it without wasting the second.
And this is about Mercenaries what I really like, right? So these pretty sophisticated things. You might not see that firsthand, but they are implementing them perfectly into their strategy now, so we really have to give them credit for that, because there is still some teams in current Tier 1 play all over the world that do not really understand or use these properly, and Mercenaries do seem to actually use them in the correct way. So we have to give them that one, and that will really give them a leg up compared to the competition.
Angles being opened now. This is, I believe, the longest we've had all 10 players still standing this late on into the round. But it gets closer and closer to that minute mark, and at this moment you think, how much have MonkaS been able to manage? They still haven't got in an arcade, and it's still being battled back against. Cafe, not under their control either, and here comes a man creeping close and aggressive in Mercenary stylings. Again, happy to be confident, happy to take the fire at any doorway, any location, any possibility where they have this kind of swan of, I can win this.
Will that be caught? No, it will not. They'll probably get the shield as well, as Firefly will be taking a few points of damage. 50 seconds left on the clock. Still, everybody standing. Firefly is the only one who took damage so far. As another set of Excaliburs will be used. I'm not really sure about this one. It will create them in a line of sight, but is it going to be so helpful for them in these last dying seconds? Side is going to be approved. It's going to be one kill to come in. Maker able to drop that diffuser. Will shortly be recovered though. His line will be able to pick that one up, and they're kind of struggling trying to take the fight here to the player who's holding the back inside of that bathroom right there. The shield is going to get popped, and that means there is a bit of a heat going down right there, but a lot of time is being wasted in the meantime. MonkaS needs to move in, but look at where MercenarieZ is. They're all around. They know someone is also still downstairs. Maker is, you know, keeping an eye out on that. His line now moves in. It's going to be Ninja Freak to actually pick that one up. No, it's not. It's Maker to go for it. Getting a triple kill himself. It's all cruising now in the middle of sight, but he's going to be walking across as he swaps to his pistol. Maker finishes it off. It's MercenarieZ to win round number 3. And so far, they have been absolutely flawless. Not making any mistakes, except for maybe that spawn peek in the start. And they're going to be able to carry this on and extend their round lead.
It's so worth obviously noting there that it just seemed like mercenaries were never truly tested until the dying throws. And because of that, because they didn't have any of these pinches pull off, because they didn't have any of their operators overextend or get a little bit too cocky with some of these closer to the site engagement, yes, I was complimenting their aggression. We could see them moving and manipulating around Arcade Window, but as noted and noticed, as soon as they realized it's getting a bit too hot and a bit too peppery, pull back. You don't need to throw your life away just yet. Take that.
I mean, you're not used to people re-peeking, right? Like, because they're shooting at the Legion, and the Legion is like, I don't care, I just peek in. Hasib just goes for the gunfight, and I mean, I guess it's intimidating if like everything you peek instantly gets re-peeked, like they're not afraid to die.
Yeah.
The thing is, if you win this first map so convincingly, you're right now 3-0 up as well. You can afford to do these things. You can afford to be intimidating by just re-peeking everything, keeping them on their toes.
Okay, turning over to the eyes on MonkaS, what do you think they're missing? Or what do you think they need to be able to get a little bit more ground? Because to be fair, last time we were
Monty.
here, well, that's a very good shout, because this was their closest bomb site.
Well, I mean, to be honest, they should have won this one. Let's just say that. Look, there we go. First Electroclaw deployed on that thing right here. There you go, you see it? We'll be able to just get it, and then the other one will be put down here. Both will be unavailable to be picked up from the Kali. And now Medics is saying awesome because he finally spotted them. And there we go, that wall will not be opened up unless you have a Maverick, which they do not. And there's also Nakali now, which will make it harder for the Mute Jammers to actually be taken out. They need to go for the S charges from above to deal with that.
3-0. They've guaranteed themselves an even split, but with the way this is going, I wouldn't be surprised if they took even more. As we said before, this was the closest site and the closest firefight between the two teams. What I'm seeing from MonkaS is they're just not quite quick enough to adapt to what mercenaries are putting forward. They're not able to kind of piece together the ins, the outs, the ideas and the holds of the strategy. There's a C4. There's Cruzy, who survived. Eyes on the drone. Doesn't get caught, so instead just swing on them both and get the 2-kill Maker! From being reverse spawn peaked in the opening round to 2 free kills in the 4th.
The balls are still the man that just gets a C4 tossed to them. It doesn't land, you know, it lands too short, meaning that the kill doesn't get picked up. But for just to stay down there, you know, after your drone just got hacked, you should have been aware in that moment in time.
And they killed a Nomad. They killed their roam control. They killed the one person they've been bringing to stop this exact thing.
It hasn't been too effective, though.
It's the one thing we didn't want to happen.
Indeed. And right now, that leaves them in a tough situation because look at that. Everything is mute jammed or electroclawed off. There's no way they can go in. They need to focus from the Dragon Door or maybe split to actually make this push happen. And his line is still busy about this one person at the top of the stairs. It's going to be Lusty that spots out Hasib all the way in the back of Throne.
Now then it becomes a bit slow and steady until the hard destruction goes down. Another one falls to the guns of mercenaries. The stun grenades go over the top. They're concerned about the rotation underneath. They're popping charges too from Zafir. They're looking for this frag, but again, look at the motions being made. He's on your left, and there he is, and there you go. Taha. Aha. Flawless round.
Just these little things you do, dude. It's enough to crack me up. But indeed, it's 4-0 right now. Mercenaries are in a commanding lead. A very commanding lead. You could be asking, who's commanding the Mercenaries?
Well, this is a lore question. I'm going to ask Milos about
Who
this.
hired these guys?
Obviously, there is a mercenary group inside Rainbow Six. A certain sniper from a certain region.
And a certain my disc thrower.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Maybe they're from the same little group. I don't remember the name of the mercenaries.
Nighthaven?
Is it? Nighthaven. Yeah. Milos is giving the thumbs up. We've impressed the dad of the talent
You
team.
need to know your lore.
Yeah. You know, at the very beginning
You
of
also didn't know the M59 0A1 shotgun.
Okay, listen. Right.
It's British.
Listen, you. Medics is now in my ear, also giving me stick about my lack of intelligence. But Geo is saluting me. So, how about them apples? How about those apples?
Where does apples come from? Son?
Have you never heard that
First you
phrase?
called desert potato, and now you're just tossing apples into the mix. Are you making some sort of salad or something?
Just a potato and apple salad.
I mean, it's just two of the ingredients. I'm not sure what else you're going to be coming up with in the next coming
how can you
3
even
days.
suggest that in a city with food as good as Paris's?
I mean, I'm just, asking questions, and I'm not suggesting anything.
Here's a suggestion.
All right.
Let's talk about Rainbow Six.
Oh.
4-0 as we go into the 5th round. And honestly, Mercenaries, with the way they're going, it would be pretty monumental for MonkaS to be able to find something in here. It's little mistakes that we've talked about, that we've seen from every tier and every level of play. Obviously here, when we have a team that is coming in on the seed 1, and a team that's coming in on the 4th seed, we're seeing it more obvious because, well, they're really being pressed and living up to the seeds that they came in on. Doesn't mean Me7 isn't going to be first off the board, and to be honest, if there's one player that is consistently impressing me from the hands of MonkaS, it has to be Firefly. Hasn't been able to shine too much in this game, but these little moments he had where he was able to win things round, bring things back into the favor of MonkaS, he's kind of started to show up very well today.
Indeed, he's starting to show off well. I'm just happy they didn't use the X-Kairos on the actual hatch, because it could be more useful later on in the round. You got to keep in mind, it could be very likely when a Heart Breacher dies, and as I say that, the Heart Breacher does indeed die, and that means every single piece of X-Kairos is needed, but then the second one gets taken out as well. Why do you put your Heart Breachers on the front line? MonkaS, put up the Sophia, put up the IQ, or even the Nomad in that matter. Not your Heart Breachers.
You look at where QB could have been in that situation. They have a man behind a Goyo shield holding a close corner. You know he's there with the angle. You have ways to blow that shield up. That is what you've got to do on your approach there. They may be stuff you've got to burn, sure. That's why you bring your flash canisters and your flash grenades to get through that. Or, you pop your less useful utility with Zephyr. It's the situation, it's the balance, it's what you want to have meet them first. And what you want to have meet them first is the utility burn method that we're in. Burn it, use it, utilize it, or die with it. That is the trade, that is the economy that they're making, and that is why things are falling entirely in front of a shield that just takes 20 seconds and some balanced play to destroy.
Well, it's all up to Cruzy now in a 1-on-4, but he will be taken down. It's going to be Hasib to get a clean hat shot down onto Cruzy, and Mercenaries will win their 5th round in a row on Team Park. I'm not sure how much their streak is actually if we take the previous map into account.
7 rounds in a row.
7 rounds in a row.
7 rounds in a row.
So far. MonkaS haven't seen their name on the board for a while now. They need to get it now. They need to step it up. You do not want to go to your second half 6-0, because that means you cannot make a single mistake anymore if you want to be going up to the grand final. And we said before, MonkaS was going to be able to keep it close, and look at that indeed. Maker 10-on-1.
Hasib 9-0.
9-0 on Hasib.
Hasib hasn't died yet.
The man. That's going to be a big rating I can tell you that.
Them stats. Again, this is a region that we obviously haven't seen too much on. So the stats that we've been able to put together are ones where, for us, it's going to be kind of fresh eyes. And obviously, stuff that we're going to be able to bring into the future games. Now, I got a little bit of stats a little bit before, obviously. And I know I mentioned that I've been able to talk to a couple of people in the scene, and I also had really good input from Haider Ali, or Russian Ewok, the head of news at CGG, who was able to give me a really good insight and idea, and actually ran some numbers and some stats from the only broadcast game, which was the one that was streamed. And from then, it gave me a bit of an idea of where to work with. But as you said, the stats that are being put up here by MercenarieZ, oh, they're going to be some pretty big numbers at the end of all of this.
They'll definitely be big numbers. He's looking at a 10-1, 9-0. On the other hand, the team of MonkaS is struggling to find himself some kills. And already one drone taken out. I mean, it's not that big of a deal, I have to say. But the drone economy also not really too strong. It seems like they lose them, but don't really do anything with the information or do not dare to push through. And yet again, we do not see a shield plate to come down. We haven't seen them play Clash either, whilst we have seen that from MercenarieZ. We haven't seen a Monty yet, even though it's been available for 2 times. And that could really be what they would need to push through to a shield like that we just saw. Just get that shield, get that mountain into the board, and start pushing with that.
Unfortunately, Firefly is blown up into cinders by Me7, who's able to C4 them through the floor and start yet another round in the favor of MercenarieZ. And again, when you're looking at the potential of a 6-0.5, it's not the way you want to go. Ninja Freak is dancing against this hatch and just blows it up anyway.
What's the use of this? It's gonna like if there's an next Skyrim Sunday, I'm opening it myself. It's gonna have nothing to do with this.
I'm not being fired. I quit.
That's basically it. Like, you're no, I quit. I resigned my job, and that's exactly what happened there. Like, either just wait a second and toss it over so you have the opportunity of getting a kill, because no one is going to be hot dropping through that hatch. But, well, that's one more C4 gone. One landed with a kill, the other one did not. But it's still 3-on-5 advantage right here for MercenarieZ. Something that is, well, quite, you know, commanding, quite, well, clear. Something that might be really hard for MonkaS to get back into, especially since they're struggling with taking the even first room to go in. They want to take this waiting room, but can they? 70 seconds, and it's going to be Me7 to pick up yet another kill. Leaves it up to a 2-on-4, 2-on-5 situation. The My Discs is now picking up a huge chunk of the utility that Lion has as well. However, the shield is going to get destroyed, I believe, maybe? Yes, it does. Now it's going to be giving him a little bit more breathing space.
Looking for a close firefight, and they're able to at least get one, but not for very long. Maker pushes and keeps pushing. Takes another 2 for his total that is just cruising right now. 6-0. Map point. Everything to be done by MonkaS.
Not a single mistake they can afford, Fluke. Not a single slip-up. Not a single misclick. Everything will come back in this situation right now. And if it does, it is going to be a 7-0, 7-1, maybe 7-2. And MercenarieZ will find themselves into these grand finals of the region. The first ever time that they will be in a major and have the opportunity to gain 6 invitational points to qualify themselves for the tournament at the end of the Esports year.
12-1 is such a big...
It's very intimidating.
It is, yeah, because obviously you're looking at this from the idea of when they took first seed, when they took first place to get themselves into this competition, they were a very new roster. They'd only been together for about 2 or 3 weeks before that all kicked off. So they've now had time. They've had time to refine, time to improve. You compare the results that these guys have had today versus the very same team that they played throughout those qualifiers. They were tighter maps and matches. They were, you know, 7-5s. They weren't too big of a runaway game. Here, they have stepped up another level. And if you're in the rosters of Kira and you're in the rosters of Union, you're thinking at this moment, okay, we've got to do the same. Maybe they already have. We'll be finding out later today. But unfortunately for MonkaS, they've just been a little bit left in the wake of an unbelievable and overwhelming force of MercenarieZ today.
I like what we're seeing from Mercenaries here. Instead of bringing the Kali, you bring the Maverick. And the Maverick in this map is, in my eyes, favored by a lot. Because there's nothing you have to worry about. You just open it up, get that opening in that wall, go for that push. And when you have that Kali, you see what could happen. You see what could happen. They might just be hidden, and there's nothing you can do at that point.
Slow and steady seems to be the role here. Now, one of the things that we kind of talked about before was the ban on the Jackal. And I said maybe this is something that's going to give the defense of MonkaS a bit more defense.
He does not see him.
Does not see him.
He does not know. And now they're facing each other with their backs to the wall as QB is going to be taking some damage as he creates a bit of a bullet hole. It's not going to be the kill eventually. Maker not able to find and follow up on that one, but Taha will be, and that's the entry yet again. QB taking out a double kill from Taha to come in, and this might be exploding into a very quick round right here, Fluke, as 2 members die within 5 seconds really. It's only going to be up to the last remaining 3 members to hold the line, to make sure that MonkaS is not going out with a 7-0 blow into the semi-final. It's up to Lusty, Firefly, and Lion to hold the ground.
Well, they're trying to find the Vigil, and they're wasting as much time as possible. He's not going to shoot the drone just yet, but you assume, yeah, as soon as his ability is about to go down, he does, and well played. Yet again, if I'm going to talk about the timings and the misplays from the hands of MonkaS, today, from Mercenaries, it has been pinpoint. 5 versus 4 versus 1 is all that remains in the hope of MonkaS in this tournament so far. But again, when you meet an overwhelming force, when you meet an undeniable presence, when you meet the flashes, the bangs, the communication and combination that they are, you unfortunately meet your end at the hands of Mercenaries. Consolation to MonkaS, they showed up for the first time on the biggest stage in the world, and there was definitely sparks of ingenuity and ideas there that just couldn't quite find their way through into round wins. And congratulations to Mercenaries, who were another level today.
They were indeed on another level, but also the right thing here for MonkaS is there is a lot of points we actually spotted right here they could be improving on. If only they watch back the volley, I think there's already a lot of things that would realize themselves as well that could be going better, from simple operator picks to the likes of execute later on. But Mercenaries are the big victors here, 7-0 in that second map, and they will be moving through to the grand finals, which, if I'm correctly, will be played tomorrow.
Maybe. Time. Who knows what it is nowadays. Either way, a lot to take away from for both these teams, as you said, and a lot for us to have a look into as our first taste and first idea of a region never seen before. But that's not our job. Our job is to talk very quickly and make silly jokes. That is the job of those guys on the table now to break it all down for us. Let's have a look and a listen and just a glimpse. Was it the wolf, the bear, and the badger? What was it?
Possum.
Possum. The wolf, the bear, and the possum. They're over there.
On the table.
On the table. I wish I could just get on the table. I wanted all of us to just all get on the table at the same time just to be there.
Otherwise, just like table.
Milosh wants to get on the table and be painted like one of your French girls.
I mean,
that's what Hap just suggested very subtly.
who suggested that?
Hap. You know, he does this kind
You
of
and I are going to have a chat after
He wants
this.
to do the painting.
You know, Hap. I can't imagine what that would look like. You know how Hap just kind of like has a very whispering word every now and then, and it's so subtle and quiet that it takes one of us to pick it up, and then
Just
we're
like the dynamite thing. Yeah.
right? And we were just like, we feel so embarrassed that
Hey,
as Brits we couldn't come up with something so plain and simple.
hey, that dynamite thing, do not remind anybody of that dynamite.
Fair play to you, Hap. I'll give that to you.
What's wrong with Fragno?
What's wrong with Fragno? Well, where do we begin, Gio?
Stay there. Stay there. Honestly. All right, guys, we are back.
That doesn't all look dodgy, but okay. I'm there pointing stay down. Brilliant. Carry on.
Let's talk about it. Theme Park was a swift affair, 7-0 for Mercenaries. We talked about, MI7 or Me7 in the first map, but here it's just Hasib going even harder than he did before with 10-0 or something like that, and then Maker also showing up very heavily for the team. If anything, this is the perfect showing for your squad on the biggest stage.
The scariest thing about these boys, I found out backstage when I was looking into them a little bit more, is about 3 weeks ago, they basically rebuilt as a team. They brought a new sub in. 2 of their players had to be replaced because they were under 18 to compete in this, and they were like, right, this is a bit nerve-wracking. We've got to rebuild things, and you'd never guess looking at how they played today. Although it came down to Hasib and Maker, and I was saying to Gio a second ago, I'm looking here for Maker, 4K in round 3, 2K in round 4, 3K in round 5, 2K in round 6. He just
Went
did
12
not
and
let
1.
up. It was insane.
12 and 1, and Hasib was 10 and 0.
What do you do?
Look at this. Look at this. We have the round breakdown.
That way.
Just
There
get
it is.
down.
Oh, that's my normal resting height without the stool. It is
It's that
gross.
Doki height.
crazy.
There it is. 7 rounds in a row for Mercenaries, as clean sheets as you can get. This is Iker Casillas, basically, levels.
Across 6 rounds, the other team, MonkaS, got 8 kills.
But I mean, the thing is,
Just to let you know how grave it really is.
it's not even just about kills. Like, there were some really bizarre things that MonkaS were doing, like using their hard breaches as sacrificial lambs and just sending them straight in with all their. There were a couple of times where the X-Kairos got pointed at those soft hatches on the roof, and I got a little bit nervous. And it just makes you wonder if they're aware of, you know, how you're supposed to play hard breaches, and getting them killed straight away isn't it. You're not going to get into the site that way, and it certainly didn't help their endeavor.
To give a little bit over to the side of MonkaS, they were making plans. You could see what they were trying to do. Firefly, a couple of rounds, tried to come for flanks up yellow stairs, but both times he tried was just shut down super fast.
And why was that happening?
Look at the scores, Milo.
Is there-
Tell me.
I mean, first of all, yeah, I guess the aim game is one thing, but there has to be something more. Like, even if you had more information on where your opponents are, maybe you can be more careful when walking in these locations. Maybe, you know, committing more players onto droning would be very helpful.
This is the thing when you talk about really aggressive regions, especially developing regions, a lot of it comes down to the fact that they don't invest loads of time and attention into the drone economy, things like that, that really are those very fundamental things that when you tighten them up and you get the nuance of them, that's where a good team can become a great team.
Yeah, I think looking at how we've seen Mercenaries play today, though, you can see why they are considered one of the best. I mean, back on Villa, we were speaking about the good things they've done. This map here, dead truthful, there isn't a whole lot you can break down around how they play, because it was just being in an ideal position and then saying you're walking through a doorway at us. 1, 2, 3, 4 kills. What more is there to say?
Yeah, basically that. So, very exciting first showing for the region. Mercenaries definitely showed up today, and we got to see the action they're bringing. We're already highlighting key players to look at for their grand finals match come tomorrow. Yeah, I'm very excited to see it. But we still have one more game, the last best of 3 scheduled for today, and we're continuing in with the South Asia region. Union Gaming versus Kira Esports is our next big match. Let's explore what the talent has to offer us. That's right after the break.